with your camera.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've already made a mistake. I forgot to order. And I will announce that residents will have 3 minutes to speak. Your comments will be recorded auditorily and visually. A roll call, please.
Ms. Cook?
I'm here.
Mrs. DePew?
Here.
Mr. Lark?
Here.
Mr. McCowan?
Yes.
Mr. Nagy?
Here.
Mr. Soborowski?
Here.
Mr. B?
Here.
And Mayor Noel?
Here.
Mr. Furman?
Here.
And Mr. Russmeyer?
Here.
One present.
Okay, thank you. And I'd now like to move to the recognition of our Christmas card winners. I think there may be a few of them here.
Thank you, Mrs. Pugh. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so honored. I'm going to introduce 3 students. They're 4th grade students here, 2 of which attend Harrison and 1 of which attends Mother of Mercy Academy. They put in a lot of hard work where they drew a picture, a holiday picture, and the best pictures were taken, and we were making the holiday cards with those pictures for the Whitehall Police Department. So, if I can introduce them individually and I'll show you their artwork. First up is Cameron Abbott. Cameron. Round of applause. This is Mr. Law, you're in trouble. All right, yeah, we got an artist coming up right behind you. So that's your original artwork, and this is your framed card. This is the card we made with your artwork. Congratulations. The next artist that we have here today is Ben Reitmeyer. This is Ben's original artwork. And this is the card we made with your artwork. Yours to have. Congratulations. And last but certainly not least, from Mother of Mercy Academy, we have Olivia Heckney, and she drew this just gorgeous Santa Claus. I'm so proud of your hard work.
I give her an A+.
It's fantastic. Now, I hate to be this person, but I want to steal the mayor for like 2 minutes. Because when I told these kids that they were going to get a picture with the mayor, they're just mouths just, oh wow. So if you don't mind, Mayor, if we could go by the Christmas tree?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be great.
Okay, before you leave, Mayor, I did omit, we have our Cub Scout pack with us tonight. Pack 326. Did I get that correct? I've been making a lot of errors the first 2 minutes.
I promised them they were going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I said, no one will start without me. You must have heard over there. And you said, they're going to not do anything in this pause. So, but anyway, welcome Scouts. We were working on an arrow of
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so Christmas card winners, if you want to follow me, we'll get this picture. Sound good? Oh, thanks, Hannah. Appreciate it.
Mayor, can we come in?
I just do whatever.
I know.
So now we can sit down and just leave it. They did it with the other
Oh, no problem. I'm glad
whatever.
you guys can have some chairs now. Thank you.
Well, they did it with
Thank you for having us.
Was that it?
Please take a seat now. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry, I want to sign it.
Sister, speak, I don't want to speak.
Yes, this is if you'd like to speak. You don't. Okay.
Just this one.
I see these ads for the things on the
We've got great But I just so no, you're at that's where I said
We'll move on to citizens' requests. Any citizen who wishes to speak, please sign up. This is your chance to say something. Okay, we'll move on with Bill Marcus.
Hello, I'm here on behalf of the Fairhaven Beneficial Society at 7 Provost Road. We would like to ask for an amendment to Borough Code Section 180.81.4 accessory uses, subsection 180.81.4.1 limited amusement arcades. We're just requesting that private clubs be added to the lists for the limited amusement arcade.
Bill, would you give us your full name and address for the records?
William Marcus, and I live at 2827 Provost Road.
These are test interest the Fairhaven Club's been there 100 years, I think. I don't know. But they have their own private nice class. They don't harm nobody. They're good for the Whitehall. And I suggest, you know how much I complain about these things, if it's to the borough, they have one. I don't believe anybody else has. But I suggest we allow them to have that chance of small games. Those things are different than they were years ago. So I'm suggesting the council giving them the wish of they're looking for.
If I can, if what you're requesting is a change to the zoning ordinance, is that what I'm reading? And I apologize, I didn't have it in front of me when you were.
Yeah, I spoke with Mr. Gillette last week, and he printed this out for me and said that there would need to be an amendment.
Right.
If I may,
So
they're allowed to have mechanical devices. Are you asking about PA skills?
Skills games.
right, so if you're looking for, again, without knowing your particular situation or really knowing the details of it, but if you're looking for a change in the zoning amendment, it's a process. It's under the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. And again, eventually up to the Borough Council, but the first step is it's got to go to the various planning commissions to determine it. And then really, the ordinance itself has to be in place. So if you have a specific change in mind, typically the process is to write a letter to the planning director, to go to the borough council about, this is my intention, we would like the ordinance to be amended as follows. And then it goes through the application process. If you're seeking as an applicant, for a change in the ordinance, that's one way to go about it. The other way is to write a letter to council, asking council to consider a change to the ordinance, and just specifically as to what you're asking for, right? Saying, what you read, it sounds like what you verbally said now would just be a letter in writing to Borough Council so they can evaluate it. It's, for example, it's not something they can just make a motion on. There's requirements to go to the County Planning Commission, the Whitehall Planning Commission, and then there'd have to be a public hearing for the public to comment on it before council, before they can adopt it. I mean, this is, one way to start is probably, put a letter to the council, and they can choose to, take it from there.
I was just going under the direction of Mr. Gillette. He told me to come here tonight.
No, he's not wrong, it's just, you gotta start with the letter, it's unclear what you'd be specifically asking for without it, so it's hard to.
All right.
Can we direct staff to kind of hold their hand and help them out, try to fast track this? Because they were probably, if I had to imagine, pretty affected by that whole Provost Road construction for the past however how long. And it's hard for just a regular citizen to do that.
Right.
And,
Right, well, yeah, I think a letter outlines what they want, to the planning director, that way you'd be able to format it.
how did it work with the 7-Eleven on Bradford Road? Because I kind of complained about that a little bit. So they actually had to also put a letter in, or
No,
how?
that was-
or did that kind of just get
That
not the pushed through?
There was a change. There's a two-step application process. They went through those steps. They went through the zoning process. Once it gets approved through the zoning process, it gets required. When it comes to the police department, to approve.
Okay. So do you think there's any way we could fast track this to try to get it done before sometime in January?
Well, just so you understand, Mr. Silverowski, what has to happen is there has to be a preparation of the ordinance reflecting, and I'm not exactly 100% clear on what the exact request is, that's what I was hoping that letter would reflect, right? Then, if council thought it was a good thing, they would then direct the preparation of that ordinance. That's a council decision at that point. Then, what happens is once the ordinance is prepared, it has to go to the Whitehall Planning Commission and the Allegheny County Department of Planning, and they have to review it for a period of 45 and then 60 days before you can schedule the public hearing. And then you have the public hearing, and at that point, after the public hearing, you can actually get up. That's the process, right? So, again, I think the first step is to understand exactly what's being requested. Then I think if that's something for our council at that time things make sense, then they can direct the planning director to prepare that, or work with the solicitor's office to prepare that ordinance, and then you just move forward. But there's statutory timelines that govern the process of how it goes. Changes to zoning ordinance are different than just a regulatory ordinance. Rules on it.
But we're looking at about 60 days.
Well, from the time the ordinance would be prepared, you'd have to give at least, give 60 days before you do the adoption. So it depends on the time of scheduling the hearing, so it can't be less than that. But it's that by the time you get it advertised and scheduled.
So I guess what I'm saying is somebody can like hold their hand and help them out. You think you could reach out to them or something? Or
Yeah, I think-
they're not a lawyer, so it would be nice if, a lawyer could reach out to them or, help them out instead of vice versa.
Well, again, I think it ends up, it's a council question if that's something they want, if the borough wants to pursue. But I think a written explanation of what they're looking for, which I think, again, you may have read.
Yeah, I just wanted to, so in the subsections, bowling alleys, convenience stores, grocery stores, high turnover restaurants, and low turnover restaurants are listed. They fall under this. I just want to amend that to put private clubs in this section to be covered with everybody else.
Okay, so you'll have the process. You can call Ms. Wertz if you have any questions.
All right.
Good, thank you
Thank you.
for coming up for your request, for clapping for the Christmas cards.
The reason I asked and said what I said was, when the new council comes in, I hope they will accept this for this club that's been around for a very long time. So thank you to you new people.
Okay, Beth Lane-Iker.
I thought there was another citizen on the list. Is there not?
Jane Cassiano, I'd like to defer to the end, please.
I would like to defer to Ms. Castriato since she decided to sign in first.
I'm sorry, Jane. I'm not gonna get into the minutes.
I'm not either. You know what? All I wanted to say was thank you. I am not going to be here in 2 weeks. I have personal business to attend to, family business to attend to. So I won't be able to say goodbye to you guys. Bob, Phil, and the other guy. Glenn. I'm sorry.
Got 3 minutes.
You guys, everybody that's here right now, including you, Stone, are part of the reason why I never did come up here for 32 years. I never really thought I ever had to distrust this board or this council. And I've always been happy to leave the decision-making for my tax dollars with you guys. I felt like I could trust you. I want to say that coming to these meetings has done nothing but reinforce that trust for the people that are sitting here right now, and has diminished the trust to the grievance candidates who now have seats on this council. But you know what? I got used to the habit of coming up here, and I guess coming up here since May has been good, because I will be continuing to come up here every chance I get. Thank you. I appreciate your service, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President. For the past year, I have been attending meetings, and I have delegated to empowered the responsibility of streaming the meetings to Mr. Mike Weiss over here, and we'll also have other volunteers to assist in the streaming until the streaming is possible in the perhaps relocated council chambers. The reason why we have such a crowd tonight is because I felt it very, very pertinent to bring to everyone's attention that we went through a 3 budget series meetings where we discussed at the very end of it that there would be a property tax hike of perhaps a half mil or a full mil. But most definitely, we had to raise taxes. And why did we have to raise taxes? Because the cash reserves were low. Well, at that time, I spent with a list of things that we could have done better over the past year, the past 2 years or so. And I have looked at your audits, and I have found the adverse opinions thereof. I have also looked at the debt service. Absolutely positively, there was $9.7 million in debt at the close of 2022. But those are not the top reasons as to why we are raising taxes, in my opinion. Reason number 1 out of the budget of the 2024, and if you didn't get a copy, they're sitting over here, and I was refused to get a copy of it. So there was a $870K for Overlook Park advanced over and above. Maybe there's a DCNR grant coming, we'll see. Over $500,000 for our trash contract. That's a big deal. Also, there's outstanding $430K for pool construction. Wow, my goodness, I thought the pool was down, but apparently we're going to spend $430K in pool construction over in the next calendar year. I am specifically calling for a public audit meeting in 2023. I appreciate that those figures will not be available until first quarter, so that the people can understand exactly why it is that you will put on public display the budget and your tax levies. 10 days you have. 10 days.
Comments. We'll move on then to, that was the last of our citizens' requests. We'll move on to our public hearing of the budget. Mr. Allen?
Make a motion.
Oh, okay.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to open up the public hearing on the budget. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, here we go. This is it in a summary, folks, and you can, we'll be glad to answer anything in detail. As the residents tighten their belts during these inflationary times, so does the borough. In preparation of the 2024 budget, staff performed a line-by-line review, examined historical trends and projected upcoming expenses to present a budget that reflects an accurate cost of maintaining services. That's a good capital letter, maintaining services. Approximately $145,000 in cuts and savings were found by the staff. However, the rising cost of doing business has mitigated those savings that were found. Borough Council, Borough Council faces an old age dilemma, either to cut services as a cost-saving measure or raise our taxes to continue to provide the top-notch services that residents have come to expect. Whitehall Borough is historically run on a very lean operation compared to neighboring municipalities with less than 50 employees total. Whitehall Borough is proud to offer services on par with larger Southwest communities. After approximately 20 years of no increase in real estate taxes, the consensus of Borough Council is to incrementally raise the millage rate to half a mils in 24 and another half a mils in 25 to cover rising operation costs. Specifically, almost 40% increase in refuse and recycling contracts and public safety expenditures, including contractual obligations to the Whitehall Police over the next 5 years. Additionally, the Whitehall Fire Company is looking to replace one of the 2008 aerial to the tune of $1.7 million. Unlike neighboring communities looking at 1+ mils increase in 24, Whitehall Borough feels that a phased increase would be easier for homeowners to budget for and to adjust instead of a dramatic increase all at once. Revenues remain stable on all fronts. Increased interest rates continue to see the borough's investments grow exponentially, more than historically budgeted for. However, these higher interest rates cannot be counted on as a stable revenue stream, as they are subject to larger economic conditions. Staff will continue to monitor rates and maximize the borough's returns as part of their fiduciary responsibility to taxpayers. On the expenditure side, the borough continues to invest upwards of $2 million into the ground maintaining storm and sanitary system and infrastructure. The annual road program once again will be paid for out of the liquid fuels fund using monies received from the state gas tax. Borough Council continues to provide significant support for the fire company and to the Whitehall Public Library, totaling almost $850,000 between the two organizations. In the 2024 budget, the Borough Council will assist in the purchase of new self-contained breathing apparatuses for the fire department, and will set aside monies to continue to fund the day shift programs pending confirmation of adequate workers' compensation for daylight staffing members and a legal review of the program structure to ensure compliance with Federal Labor Standards Act. We continue to invest in our neighborhood park systems. After an initial bid came in over $1 million over budget, the Overlook Park Improvement Project was broken down into phases and rebid. Phase 1 is slated to occur in 24 using funds from the American Rescue Plan Act and monies from the fund balance. Other capital improvements include continuation of the borough beautification plan. New Welcome to Whitehall signs will be purchased to complement the new street signs that were installed in 2023. Public Works and Whitehall Police Department will take delivery of 2 new vehicles in each department, ensuring our fleet maintains the best in the South Hills. Additionally, a cover for the new swimming pool will be purchased to save on annual water and sewage costs. This purchase is slated to pay for itself in a 3 to 4 year time. Borough also continues to work with Connect and Get Solar as we review the proposals for installation of solar panels in borough property. Municipalities are not immune to the rising utility rates that residents see in their own homes. Solar panels will help hedge against the rising electrical costs in addition to reducing the borough's carbon footprint. Improvements to the borough's internal infrastructure continue as we move to fiber internet, and it's slated to occur early in 24. Additionally, the existing multi-purpose room will be renovated and repurposed as the new council chambers to accommodate larger audiences at public meetings. Monies have been allocated to install streaming capabilities for the new room as well. Whitehall Borough will continue to provide exceptional services that our residents deserve and look forward to successful 2024. And that's my speech.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone on council have any comments?
I do. I'm 58 years in this borough. I'm about to leave. In more ways than one. I did many things for this borough, along with the rest of this council. Everything was for the people. All right, do you have a CPA? I'm calling you, copy of that. Beth?
You're asking, calling on
I'm
me?
asking you, do you have a CPA? Do you have a CPA? It's a yes or no question.
I do not have a CPA. However, I have outsmarted everyone about the budget, because how can you for 3 years have adverse opinions and not have it a public audit to adjust that? Why were we over 1.8 million in deficit in 2022?
You don't know what that.
Am I going to expect over? Yes, I know what I'm talking about. I know how to read.
Thing you're talking about.
I know how to read, sir.
There's a community. It took 28 years to do from all of that.
Then great, let's open it up to the people. Let's have a real democracy here.
I think when
Okay,
you
I'm
get
gonna
in,
ask both of you,
you are
please
just
stop the
going, you
Phil,
are just going to be a
Phil,
disaster.
Phil, please sit down. Phil, please.
My last chance to talk to people.
Democracy is a
End of the
disaster.
meeting.
No, I'm not.
At this moment, I think we need to stop and see if there's any other residents, have any other residents
very good
care to make
woman I ever
some
met.
comments on the budget.
For your position.
The only comment I have to make is that, from my understanding, the extra money that is for the pool, the $400-some thousand, is already part and parcel of the loan that was put out for that pool, and not an additional expense to the taxpayer.
If I can explain, the government fund accounting, if the monies aren't expended in the year that they were budgeted for, you have the option of carrying it over. That $400,000+ is the last payment to the pool contractor who has not submitted the final paperwork to get paid, and they won't. But as an accounting, that we have to do the proper way is fund accounting. It's okay, we can expend that money, so that money gets carried over on the balance sheet for that fund and sits there. It's no more money. It was already accounted for in 23. We paid for it in 23 with the $6 million from the bank for that money.
Okay.
So we're not double counting money and we're not losing money. It's just money that's left over. It's not any more expensive. It was fully expensed last year.
Right.
Or this
And that
year,
was
23.
explained in the budget meeting,
Yes,
because
it
I
was.
remember hearing it.
Yes, it was.
Okay,
Back to you.
if there's no other comments, are there any other citizens that wish to speak on the budget?
Okay, it'll be on display for 2 weeks, so take a look at
Okay,
it.
I need a motion to put it on display.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing if there's no other comments.
it's been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The public meeting is now closed.
I make a motion that we
Public hearing.
put the 2024 budget on display for 2 weeks to be voted on for next time.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to put the budget on display. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The budget passes.
I
The motion to put it on display passes.
I just wanted to thank the staff for their due diligence going through that. That was a painstaking process, going line by line and making sure, and the chief also, because he participated in that very well. His portion of the budget is almost out. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, we'll now move on to maybe the more ordained but important part of the budget, the bill and payroll.
Administrative services, Mr. Nagy.
I don't think we have anything.
Bill list.
Oh, correct. That's it.
Thank you. Planning and zoning, Mr. B.
Yours.
Safety, Mr. McCowan.
Yes, in order.
Public Works, Mr. Lahr.
In order.
Recreation, Ms. Book.
In order.
Storm Sewer Fund, Mr. Lahr.
That is in order.
Sanitary Sewer Fund, Mr. Lahr.
That also is in order.
2022 Construction Fund, Mr. Nady. Liquid Fuels Fund, Mr. Lahr.
In order.
And local fiscal recovery fund, Mr. McCowan.
That's in order.
I would ask for a motion to approve bills and payrolls from the general fund totaling $57,839.88. From the storm sewer fund totaling $26,093.78. From the sanitary sewer fund totaling $208,575.80. From the 2022 construction fund totaling $3,067.50. From the liquid fuels fund totaling $386,346.03. And from the local fiscal recovery fund totaling $6,300.04.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. If there are any questions on this list? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I would ask for a motion to approve checks and transfers to be ratified from the general fund totaling $39,264.75. From the sanitary sewer fund totaling $896,882.75. And from the payroll fund totaling $1,208,408.
No, let's go back to the payroll. There's two payroll dates here, 54,000 and then 50,000.
Yes, so the payroll for the pay date of November 17th in the amount of $54,669.94. From the pay date total from December 1st, totaling $50,934.74. For a grand total to be ratified, $1,041,752.18.
So moved.
Second.
I have a question.
Yes.
It says, under H, sanitary sewer fund checks and transfers to be ratified, $896,882.75. And then under, what Phil just said, the sanitary sewer fund, it only, says $208,575.80. Am I missing something? We might have, we do some sort of project or something that I'm missing.
No,
Or
so
can I have some term?
under the sanitary sewer fund, totaling $208,000, so and change. Those are bills that have yet to be paid, that you would ask for approval this evening.
Okay.
And then what the $896,000 will change, that is a bill that already been paid to Alexander, and you're asking for ratification.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I believe there was a motion in a second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I would ask for a motion to approve the payroll for pay date of November 17th, 2023 in the amount of $176,190.93.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
We have also asked for a motion to approve payroll for the pay date of December 1st, 2023 in the amount of $166,532.60.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And there are overtime lists attached.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes. We need to do these individually. Okay, let's.
I'll make a motion that the minutes from the November 11th budget meeting be approved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Am I
passes.
supposed to say no if I wasn't there? Because I remember Bob did that a couple of
No.
meetings ago. So I
I
should
believe
just,
you
I
have-
read all this.
Yeah, I believe you still have to vote.
Well, you
Okay.
can vote, you can always vote yes or no on the minutes, right? So you have a choice to vote no if you want.
But you do have to vote one way or the
I
other.
mean, I read it over.
It's your choice to vote. I don't, you have an option to vote.
Okay, you're going to leave it the way it was.
Bob didn't know whenever he wasn't there, and I
Right.
just want to keep things correct.
It's an individual council
That's
person.
your individual preference. I wasn't here to observe, so I have nothing to compare from my memory to what was written. Feel the same way, then you vote.
Okay. So I'm voting no. Thanks.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 15,
Second.
2023. It's Any questions on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I need a motion for the
I'll make
November.
a motion that we approve the budget meeting for minutes for November the 18th, 2023.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Right, yeah, I'm voting no on all of it, just because I wasn't there,
Right,
not
but-
because nothing happened.
No, I understand. You voted yes on the regular meeting.
We know that you weren't here for 3 times.
Right. Right there. You voted right, so it was unanimous on the regular meeting vote. Naturally. But then, you voted no on the minutes.
I think you voted no on all.
Anything that I wasn't present at, I'm voting no.
No, he was president.
The regular
Council meeting. The second was the council.
Oh, yeah, I was up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I was up.
So it'd be no, yes,
No,
no.
yes, no, yes.
Yeah.
From the way that the minutes were.
Thank you for that.
Move on then to the mayor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. First item I have is the monthly report for November 2023. EMS Assist 175, Ordinance Pretrial 99, Accidents 15, Criminal Arrests 20, Traffic Stops 109, Traffic Details 98, and written traffic citations at 89, and written warnings of traffic violations 103. And those numbers are down last year. We have the actually higher number of details, but fewer need to stop and fewer need of traffic citations and traffic violations. So my take on these statistics is that people are obeying the law when they're driving. To deter. All right, monies collected and turned over to the borough during November 2023 amounted to $3,412.79. All right, moving along. The radar speed sign located on Brownsville Road near McAnulty was damaged as a result of a motor vehicle accident. One of those. The sign was sent to the manufacturer and will be reinstalled once repairs are complete. And I assume that some insurance will pay for that damage. Yes, the vehicle that is.
Whitehall Police Department is once again collecting toys for presents from police. Police officers from all over Western Pennsylvania will deliver the donated toys to Children's Hospital on Monday, December 18th. Residents can bring their donations to the police department by Wednesday, December 13th. I'm going to read this again. Whitehall Police Department is once again collecting toys for presents for police. Police officers from all over Western Pennsylvania will deliver the donated toys to Children's Hospital on Monday, December 18th. Residents can bring their donations to the police station by Wednesday, December 13th. Okay. Skip, I have a fire report.
Yep.
Were you planning to read it?
Yeah, I'll be glad to read it, Mr. Mayor.
Do you have
No, I have a copy.
Okay, all right.
I just emailed it to Courtney so council would have it as reference.
Okay.
During the past year, our calendar year begins on December 1st. From December 1st, 2022 through November 30th, 2023, we respond to 536 calls. 25 of the calls were working fires. This was an all-time record in Whitehall Fire Company's 77-year history for that. We trained for hundreds of hours on 3 Thursdays a month and some weekends for special classes. Some of the training we did was a rope rescue class that our crew used to rescue an injured resident off of Beverly Road who fell over the hill. We have set a policy that all our incoming firefighters be Firefighter 1 certified to come off probation. Firefighter 1 is a nationally recognized standard. In addition to Firefighter 1, all our current line officers have achieved Firefighter 2 certification. We had 2 junior firefighters complete their essentials in firefighting training. They were under the age of 18 when they did that. One has turned 18, and when the other turns 18, they too will begin regular firefighter 1 training in 2024. We have had line officers recognized for Life Savings Award, and 1 Assistant Chief Brian Pearson achieved life membership status with 20 years of service. Also, William Marcus, one of our line officers here, was recognized for life-saving operations himself. We're able to teach fire prevention classes to over 1,000 kids in our elementary schools and support other community events. Finally, we are grateful to 1,686 borough households and businesses out of 6,500 who generously supported us with this year's fund drive so far. The total donation amount was $127,939. This was an all-time high. It was up $10,000 from last year. Unfortunately, over $30,000 of this will be used to repair our 10-year-old HVAC system of the new fire hall that was improperly designed, and the heat exchangers are now failing. So we're not getting enough heat now in the fire hall. So we've put that money out for that. And finally, to end on a good note, we're always looking for new members to join. Next week, we will accept 2 more members to our annual meeting. And I'd also like to thank the borough mayor and council for their cooperation throughout the year. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, John.
Skip, just one question. Is anybody going to be back before being ready for Monday?
Yes.
Has this been, what, 3 weeks?
I heard from Will about a week ago, but I know that with elections coming up, so.
Yes.
I'm not
Okay,
sure
so you're waiting
if
till after that?
Yep.
Okay.
Can I ask Skip a question?
Madam Chair?
Madam Chair.
She's been hired for, who asked citizens report. If you were giving a report as part of the mayor's report.
Yeah. You can ask me that.
Did you
That's
have
fine.
a question?
No, I was just pointing out that.
I have nothing else. Madam President.
Okay, we'll move on then to our engineer's report.
No, solicitor.
Solicitor.
Thank you. I actually don't have a report. But I do have a request for an executive session for items of active litigation. So I'll ask for that again, ask the recess session, or adjourn to executive
It
session.
started with the Cub Scouts.
It did. Okay, we're adjourned, we can adjourn, but we'll have an executive.
That's
session.
correct.
Okay. Which means we're not coming back for any votes after the executive session, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we'll move on then to we'll probably skip our engineer now. Would you like to give your report, please?
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a report and to bring council up to speed on a few items. On page 2, the Overlook Park, just to make council aware, we did receive a schedule from the prime contractor, Caliber. Demolition work to start as early as next week, so that project will be moving ahead. Under item 7, the pollution reduction plan, Crump, I reported the last meeting, had completed all of the stream restoration work. We did receive their final pay application, did receive their maintenance one. However, we're still waiting on the release of liens, so I would imagine that project will be closed out at the next meeting. Under item 14, that's the pavement maintenance program. Same situation there. We have compiled the closeout documents. Neely and Son are executing on the maintenance bond and another lien letter. I expect that project to be closed out in the next week. Under item 16, consent order, just to make council aware, we did meet with representatives of Pakistan yesterday afternoon to review this consent order as well as the flow reduction that we're proposing, the projects that we're proposing. And the purpose of that was to start the grant process that would be due in March of next year. And then obviously the submission of that grant would occur in June of next year. So it seemed very promising that there'd be monies available. Also discussing the possibility of applying for grants on projects that we have recently completed. There may be monies available to help reimburse. Yes. So some good things there. They did ask about the Spring Valley and High Grove grant that you all received. I believe it was a year and a half or so ago. So we gave them a status update on that. So that'll be something that we'll be resuming work and coordinating with Mr. Herman on the needs of that project. So it was a very good meeting yesterday. A lot was accomplished. Hopefully we see some results at the time that the grant applications are due. Under item 17, under Felix Drive, we did receive all of the necessary easements to complete that project. It's now time to take action on the bids that were received. We did receive 4 bids on November the 8th. All of the bids received meet the requirements set forth by the bidding documents. The apparent lowest qualified bidder was Solheim Construction Incorporated, and they submitted a bid in the amount of $47,450.00. The recommended motion is to award Felix Drive Storm Sewer Improvement Project to Solheim Construction Incorporated with a total base bid of $47,450.00.
So it's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions about that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Please agree. Yeah.
Madam President, that's all I have this evening. If there are any questions, I'm happy to address.
We'll now move on to our manager, Ms. Wertz.
Thank you, Madam President.
That's quite a list.
I apologize. A lot of housekeeping. But the first item on my report is a job description update. So you know we've been reviewing job descriptions as well as doing a policy and procedure review. All of the remaining job descriptions for both administration and the police department have been completed. They are before you. So I would ask the council to adopt the updated job descriptions for the following positions: borough manager, administrative assistant, parks and recreation director, assistant recreation director, camp counselor, water aerobics instructor, public works summer help, chief of police, deputy chief of police, police communications operator, police officer, police secretary.
We have, I thought there was law for assistant.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that the job descriptions be adopted.
Second. Any questions on the? I just wanted to, when's the last time we did this? It's been a long time.
A lot of the positions were dated 2009. There were some that I couldn't find anything in the file from, and some much earlier than 2009.
This is good to have.
It was all over
protection for the borough and the employees. It's good. Thank you for all this work. I know it's a lot. Okay, there's a motion and a second to accept the adoption of the updated job descriptions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I also have a handful of ordinances and resolutions that will read in consent form and ask you to place on public display. First, we have a motion to place the 2024 real estate tax levy ordinance on public display.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion. The ordinance will be placed on public display.
Well, you're asking, you're reading. My understanding is you asked the motion,
To put on public display.
right, that's the one motion you put on public display.
Okay, I just wanted to.
When you adopt it next,
Correct.
presumably there's a motion to adopt it, then that.
Thank you. Next up, I'd ask for a motion to place the 2024 wage and salary ordinance on public display.
So moved. Any questions? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Next, I ask for a motion to place the 2024 budget resolution on public display.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. The next set of my report, you will find attached to my written report a list of the individuals whose terms in the various boards and commissions are expiring at the end of the year. So I just would ask if this council would, should I contact them to see if they would serve another term? Don't need a motion, just instruction, that's council's wish.
Nice. Is that written somewhere? Or?
It should be the highlighted or the dark ones are the ones that are expiring at the end of December. The council would like for me to reach out and ask if they wish to serve another term.
Yes, please.
You want a motion?
I don't need a motion, I just need instruction at this time. Alright. Moving on, you will also see the draft advertisement for the 2024 meeting dates. Typically in that advertisement, we include the dates for the budget meetings. So if council elects to follow past practice, those would be November 2nd, 9th, and 16th. Additionally, standing meetings for council committees are included in the advertisement. Historically, the library committee and recreation committee have not met outside of the library board meetings and the recreation board meetings. We have included them. If council wishes to look at that, please let us know. And I'd also like to note that the first meeting in January will be Tuesday, January 2nd, at 7 p.m. in council chambers. So if there's no objections to that, we'll have that ad run.
Motion, you have in place.
I don't need a motion.
Okay. But, you know, again, you typically, you were doing that was what you're just instructing, so I basically have to stop it.
That's right. We historically have not advertised meetings for the committees. That is new this year, so if there's an objection, we will remove that, but if not, we will run this draft ad we have before you. If there's any objection.
There are no objections, but I just want everyone to be aware that we are not locked into committee meetings at a certain time and take, where before we had committee meetings when the committee could get together. So there is a slight change there. And they do not have to meet every month. There are months where they won't. Okay.
Next up on my report, I do have a copy of the Department of Labor recently completed a 5-year uniform construction code audit. Found that Whitehall Borough Code Enforcement has satisfactorily complied with the UCC accessibility and administrative regulations on eligible projects from 2017 to 2022. That in the report. And last but not least, Mr. McCallum had previously mentioned this at the last meeting. The pension committee had met following up on that, Knockenhoff is recommending raising the inflation/consumer price index assumption for the 2023 actual valuation from 2.5% back to 2.75 per year. The CPI inflation assumption affects the valuation directly through the valuation of future automatic cost of living adjustments and indirectly as part of the interest rate and salary increase assumptions. For the 2021 assumption, 2.5% was used. Over the past 40 years, inflation has averaged approximately 2.8% annually, and the pension committee recommends accepting this assumption.
Any questions? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And last but not least, the Teamsters 205 have returned signed copies of the 2024 to 2028 collective bargaining agreement. I ask the council authorize the proper borough officials to sign the contract and the 12-hour scheduled memorandum of understanding.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all that I have.
Okay, we'll move on then to our committee reports. Public safety. Do you have any?
Yep. All right. Let's see. Marvin here. Okay, Pleasant Hills Chief Ferry would like to use the Whitehall Police Department's holding cells for the next 2 years during construction of their new police facility and municipal complex. Chief Bedore requests the council permission to work with Chief Ferry and the solicitors of the borough of Whitehall and Pleasant Hills to draft and government agreement presented to both councils. Want to highlight?
They basically have to completely tear down the municipal complex where the police department is. I believe they're going to relocate to the office park off of Arbor Lane by Sheets. They won't have a holding facility. They said they average between 15 and 20 prisoners that they hold for a certain period of time. It's basically until a responsible person can come and pick them up, or paperwork is prepared to take them to the magistrate or Allegheny County Jail. I've had preliminary discussions with Chief Kennedy. They're willing to cover any cost that we incur. I'm not looking to make a profit off of this. I'm kind of looking to be a good neighbor. We are on the path for them when they have to go to the Allegheny County Jail. I've talked to our solicitor a few times. Pleasant Hills is willing to take out additional insurance coverage to cover us and them on their costs. So I think this is a good thing for us, and I don't want to tell them no because we never know what could happen downstairs, and we may have to do the same thing. Hopefully we can have the solicitor said, intergovernmental agreement. We can have something in front of you for next week.
Yeah, we got intergovernmental agreements done by ordinance, right? So
Yes.
you have that on the agenda for next week.
We need a motion for this now, or?
No, you're not voting on anything now. It'll be on the agenda and then you'll decide.
But he can move forward. If no one has an objection.
No.
Thank you.
Does there need to be a motion to authorize the solicitor drafting it?
Okay. Any other questions about public safety? And recreation people? I will defer to Hannah.
Hello, everyone. As many of you know, and you might have saw outside by the Christmas tree, that we are still partnering with the Community Clothing Exchange. We have many generous residents, as well as non-residents. We have a few families that came from Thomas Jefferson, Pleasant Hills, just to be able to participate in our season of giving. So we've been able to take 5 truckloads over to the Community Clothing Exchange. The last truckloads went over this week. I did speak with the organizer. She did inform me that over Thanksgiving, there were 7 foster placements. With those foster placements, she was able, because of our drive, give every child an entire suitcase of new and used items to go to that foster placement with their social worker. So we are really happy that we could do that and that they can have new items and not worry about having those items when they're going to a new location. There are collection boxes in the library lobby, the administrative offices, and the police station lobby. If you'd like to refer to page 23 in the Borough Magazine for the highest demanded items, socks, underwear, bras, things like that are really needed. Our next partnering event with the library is our Play and Learn on December 8th, 10:30 in the community room. We are having a surprise guest from the North Pole, if anybody wants to see anyone. So the kiddos don't know about that, so they're going to be super excited. We are doing a holiday workshop, so they'll get to pretend they're elves and things like that. Our sold out breakfast with Santa is taking place on December 17th, or 16th, my apologies, at 9 a.m. At Salvatore's. This is going to be our biggest crowd year to date, and I still have a waiting list of about 40 people. So we're gonna have to look into next year, maybe either going bigger, 2 days, things like that. But it might be a lot for Santa, so we will see. Lastly, winter is here, but I am thinking about summer. Our summer concerts in the park, DJs at the pool, and entertainment for Community Day has been booked and all contracted. Michael, any questions?
Great job, Hannah. You and your staff do it. Wonderful. Thank you. Any other questions about recreation? Administrative services, Mr. Mickey.
No report.
Any questions? Planning and zoning.
I have no report also.
Okay, Public Works, no. Public Works, Mr. Blar.
No report.
I think that's the most in a row.
And I think we're gonna add one more. I have no report on the parks at this time. We'll move on to our, you wouldn't let me. We'll move on to our delegates report, Allegheny County Boroughs Association.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. The ACBA, Allegheny County Boroughs Association, we're not going to meet until next week, our quarterly meeting, which I was re-elected to a 2-year term on the board, which we work with the other communities, 83 municipalities in Allegheny County. And one of the things we do, we work in hand with PSAB, Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs. And I've mentioned this before a couple of times, it's so important. The roads, the state roads that run through boroughs, need to be maintained and paid for, excuse me, by PennDOT. They're trying to have boroughs pay for that, and it's not fair. So I've gone a step further, and I do have I'm trying to make it a bipartisan bill, which you get a lot more leverage under in Harrisburg. So I do have a Republican representative that signed on to do this. I'm in the middle of getting a Democrat. So hopefully stay tuned. It'll save us a lot of money.
We'll go faster than the,
That's all I have.
Radar.
Radar.
That's the mayor.
Go faster.
That's the mayor.
Can't beat
I
this.
said we'll go faster. Of course,
Move
they all
on to the
can't
Chamber of
rise
Commerce.
up again.
Sorry, Phil. I want you to go. Move on to the Chamber of Commerce.
It's really, really important. They've been doing their year-end Christmas holiday parties and meetings, and so but the actual luncheon is tomorrow. It's being served at them. Usually get the
Thank you. Mirza.
Chief Joshua Worth got a new certification. It's CEMS or something like that. I didn't print it out and bring it. I saw it at the last minute. It's a very prestigious certification. There's only like 189 people in the country that are certified to be chief EMS. So kudos to them. And I guess with the vacancies we'll work on that. So.
Well, I have one. I resigned from the board. And I guess it goes into effect January 1. But somebody has to pick that up. Yeah, and Bob will take it. Be careful, they eat you alive over there. No, I'm just kidding. They're really great people.
You serve on that board faithfully. Assistant for all work.
Yeah, I said it was all assistant for her.
Thank you. I do have a report. It's about a 45-minute report. First of all, we had our meeting at Bethel Park, and there was a presentation by the commander of the search program. Boy, I tell you what, that search program is awesome. I mean, Chief, you can elaborate on it if you'd like to, but it's made up of 42 members. And I believe we've got 2 members.
You always maintain a tactical operator and a crisis negotiator on the search team. We call it a critical incident response team. Most people know of it as a SWAT team. If there's a critical incident that the patrol officers can't handle, we can contact the search team and they can come out and provide additional assistance. They cover 22
Despite the Green Tree is looking to add, so we're looking at, that cog is so powerful. I mean, you don't know what we've got when we get that cog. An earlier mention was about the contract we signed with Waste Management. Lou Gorsuch, who has been in charge of this organization, we cannot let Lou retire. But Lou was anticipating that waste management fees were going to, or the contracts, not waste management, the contracts in general, were going to be up about 70%. That's what we anticipated. Okay? It was through his effort and the clock that number was at 30. If you're paying attention to what's out there in the news, you know what other municipalities that aren't involved in the cog are paying. In Kensington, 73% increase. Okay, so we feel very fortunate with what we've got, and it's belonging to that cog that has made this possible. Back to the START program, they purchased that tactical vest and radio equipment, and they were able to get that money paid for by Peters Township. And it was money that was confiscated through a drug seizure. So the value of this cog is, I can't emphasize how important it is to us, what they do. So that's my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the chief? Okay, we'll move on then to new business.
I have something. So, it's come to my attention that my name keeps getting thrown out here in these postings and so forth. These innuendos, like I have no idea what I'm talking about, and then saying that I have improper relationships with these bankers and so forth is just inappropriate and uncalled for. And quite frankly, they need to start focusing as a representative of the people that they've been elected to represent. And some of these facts too that was like that brought up earlier here, I'd like to just go through. A couple of them are, the borough is audited annually and there's no adverse findings have been found. An adverse opinion is the most severe opinion. Where normally if there was any audit findings or issues, it would be called a qualified opinion, and then those issues would be addressed in the management letter to management, and those issues were allowed to be corrected. But there's been no adverse opinions. And then, let's see here, there's a couple of things about the pool and its funding. Residents constantly state their preference to keep Whitehall swimming pool limited to Whitehall residents only. The pool is not large enough to accommodate residents without denying access to those Whitehall residents. Even if grants have been applied for, there is no guarantee that the borough would have been successful, nor would the grants have been funded the project entirely. Borrowing still would have been necessary to complete the project. And then there's some complaints about this note for the Doverdale Sanitary Sewer and Sewer Project. In 2017, the note for Doverdale Storm and Sanitary Sewer Project was borrowed at 2.568%. In 2023, the rate was adjusted to 2.2%, a savings of 0.3%. So payments did not skyrocket between 2020 and 10. Let's see here. None of the documents held as the Borough of Whitehall 24 proposed budget were released by the borough official. The proposed budget worksheets are publicly available through the right to know process. State law dictates that staff must track documents that are sent from the office. No one is exempt from this process, not even council people, because it still requires a vote of 4 to get that information from the borough. Procedurally, budget hearings are to be advertised in the Southwest Record, and they have been for at least prior to 7 days prior to the hearing. The November 23rd date was 23 days in advance. At tonight's meeting, council will be voting on proposing putting the budget on public display for the next 14 days. And a motion to consider the adoption will be held on the 20th. And that's what we just completed. The raising of taxes was not discussed in the budget series until over 2.5 hours through the third budget meeting on the 18th. Expenditures must be reviewed before funding payment can be made. So you can't just say we got this revenue. We have to provide the services. We have to find out what those expenditures are, the cost of those services, and then adjust our income to meet those needs and services. Otherwise, we're going to be laying off police officers. We're going to be shutting down the library, and we won't be able to fund the fire department without these tax increases to cover our operating costs. Let's see here. The fire company is being defunded, particularly for duty shift coverage from 8 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. $42,000 is listed as in danger of being denied. No, it's not being denied. It's in the budget. They just have some hoops to jump through relating to the workman's comp insurance and the FMLA. I'm sorry, the Federal Labor Standards. Let's see here. And really what's happening, the monies are budgeted for the daily shift program pending receipt of adequate workman's comp for the firefighters pending legal reviews. Let's see, pool construction was budgeted. We talked about this earlier, that extra $400,000 that was already paid for out of the $6 million. That's just a carryover because of the calendar year and the way the calendar is done. Let's see, it's stated that the November 18th meeting, money's not spent in 23 are rolled over to 24 monies represent retainage, pending changes, orders, and balances of for that 430,000 plus there's other monies that retaining to make sure that everything's in compliance. The Overlook Park program that came in $1 million over budget, so the budget was to be redesigned and phased out and then rebid. The engineers, I think there was some comment there that the engineers paid a ton of money for this. Well, I think, how many times did you review that? Wait, Scott, 3 times, 4 times?
Just conceptual design, bid, and then a rebid, so essentially 3 times.
Okay, the deer management program, a form of archery hunting, was funded for the second year for $6,000. This will not be allowed any money for birth control. See, now we follow a program that's offered by the State Game Commission. They control this. They control the licensing, everything. We cannot do a program, whether it be culling or birth control, without the State Game Commission involved. So that's what dictates the rules and procedures for that. Let's see. The $1 million question, has any of the work been done with the Alpha and road grant money on High Growth Road? And you're going to sort no, that's under planning and so forth, right?
grant money was received last year in 2022. It's still in design phase. There's a discussion that we have with the solicitor about some work tentatively on the private side. But the intention is to bid it in 2024 as the grant, the money has to be spent or the project has to be constructed for 25.
Let's see. Yeah, see, then there's a misunderstanding of where funds are utilized to pay salaries and so forth. So what happens here, folks, is that if a staff person gets doing some project and another project, it depends on the source of those funds or money. So you will not see their full salary unless you look at their personal detail, because funding is, Dave King's a good example, right? Is he the- Eric.
Yes.
My gosh.
Wow.
So Eric does that. So the different jobs that he's done, he's responsible for like public works and money coming from different fuels. So those monies are allocated between the budgets, between the fund balances to cover those salaries that the people work on. So their costs are being allocated to the proper revenue sources. Let's see. Yeah, so like the staff is put budget worksheets together through the whole budget process. You know, there has to be an understanding, and I guess the bottom line here is I just wish people would be able to work together and utilize the information and educate themselves before they go out there and start making these false accusations and these innuendos that there's new proprietors going on, and there isn't. I just like to say though, God does a lot of good things, puts people on the right paths and so forth. He's put me on a good path, and I know I have one more meeting, I'll probably say more for next, but it's been a privilege and a service. So I've enjoyed myself for 28 years when I've been doing this. I've lived in this community all of my life for 68 years. So I grew up here, I participated here, played in the parks and pools and everything. And this was my way of giving back. My parents always taught me to give back. And unfortunately, I got that out of the church. That this chose to give back. So for all the countless hours and efforts that I've put in over the years, I think I deserve a little more consideration from some of these people that are bad-mouthing me in public and making these innuendos.
I'm trying to tell you, learn first.
Sir, if we had open government here, this is the first opinions right here for 3 years.
You are out of
3 years.
I'm sorry.
3 years. I was addressed first.
He spoke to her.
But it's not citizens'
controls
request.
the meeting.
Bill, go ahead.
I got a, one thing. What move can we do to make sure, before we get out, that somebody makes sure that the bridge down in Wayman gets fixed and open? Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is Whitehall Road. No, you know, over in
Phil, it's not a Whitehall Road. Let's
The latest
But they,
update,
you know, there's a bridge over in the shady side of wherever the bridge was. It fell down on its own. And then all of a sudden, it was done in a year, and that was about 90 times more than this little bridge.
there's a recent update. It still appears to be on track for the end of December.
What year?
No, that could go on January a little bit if there's.
Not enough.
There's one misconception about that whole project. It was multiple projects. The actual project was the replacement of the bridge. The Columbia Gas work had to happen first because there's a gas main that runs underneath that bridge. They had to relocate it all around up Wayman, through the woods, by the Fairhaven, take all the old stuff. That's what took so long. They ran into numerous problems with the gas line replacement. Because once they got down to the bottom of Provost, to the driveway that goes up, to the properties up on the hill, they found out that what they thought was there really wasn't there. And what they needed was 20 feet deeper. And everything was not mapped property. So they stopped digging with the excavators. They brought out shovels and they brought in a vacuum truck. And they literally vacuumed out the dirt and the debris from basically your driveway all the way out to 51. And they had to do that down to 20 feet. Once they got that relocated, I think the state had a little bit of delay with the bridge being delivered. They removed the old bridge. They had to move a water main first. And as they were moving the old bridge, they realized that there was more slate and rock underneath it than they thought. So they had to bring in additional wood. The bridge itself should go in quickly, because my understanding is it's pretty much prefab, and it's going to show up and they're just going to slide it in place.
Yeah.
Just in time for Pennsylvania American to start next year with more water line replacement.
Well, that's a great report, the first one I've heard.
Yeah.
I have no way they ask me that question.
We went over this once before tonight. But the utility companies, they don't give us a lot of notice for anything. You might get a week's notice, they're asking for police officers, they're gonna close down streets, and then, they say it's 4 weeks, sometimes it ends up being 6 weeks. Another example is, beginning of this week, Prospect Road, everything was done on Moorridge. Out of the blue, somebody shows up and closes Prospect between Moorridge and a 5-way intersection without telling anybody. Didn't tell us, didn't tell the fire department, didn't tell the school district. They've done that 2 days in a row, so we went up today and kind of had a little stern discussion with them. They're going to be working until next Tuesday, and now they know who to call, so we can notify them.
They don't realize you carry a gun.
Excuse me, Chief.
I don't need the gun.
Hey, Chief, I told them to call you because usually we get notified of it.
Excuse me, Skip. It's not public comment now.
Sorry, man.
I want to ask the engineer, borough engineer, or the chief of police. There is survey work going on Baptist Road, and there's been some speculation as to what's going to happen. Does anybody know why the state of Pennsylvania is engaging in so much surveying on Baptist Road?
I'm not aware of their activities.
I'm pretty sure it's the state of Pennsylvania.
I heard a rumor that they're actually widening.
That's what I don't know. I heard somebody's speculation that might be what they're doing, so I just thought, we should probably inquire and find out what's going on there.
I think within the last 10 to 15 years, they have also talked about widening the road. For whatever reason, the study, or I don't know if it was input from the borough, they realized that the road is actually not wide enough to add an extra travel into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you, the traffic is backed up all the time. Now, a lot of it has to do with Wayman Road. Okay? But if they were able to create a second lane that just went up the hill and then turned right on Brownsville Road, obviously that would be a benefit to everyone but the homeowners whose property is taken to widen the road. So I think that we need to know what is going on so that we can have some input in the decision making. But I'm telling you, I think the surveyors that I see are not utilities, they're state employees.
We can reach out. I don't know what that is. The next project, maybe before the end of the month, is going to be Grove Road from Baptist up to Spring Valley.
I do have one last thing I need to read for, I think, the 8 of us up here. It was an email that I received this week. I know as a result of recent elections, there are going to be new people as members of council. Before this occurs, I wanted to thank all of the members of the current Whitehall Council, the mayor and the staff for all your hard work and dedication to making Whitehall Borough a great place to live.
Yeah.
I have been a resident for 37 years and can say that even though it may take time, all of you have acted to try and solve problems and improve the borough based on what is best for the entire borough and not just a select group of people. You have conducted the business of the borough with the utmost integrity and transparency. It is a credit to all that in order to move the borough forward, you have made the difficult but correct decisions to raise the necessary funds when needed to make sure that we do not move backwards. An organization that does not grow or improve will never succeed in the long run. Thank you again for all you have done for Whitehall Borough and its residents. I would appreciate if this email would be part of the minutes of the borough, minutes of the council meetings held in December. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And it was sent from Gary Bruton. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Second? All in favor of adjourning the meeting? Is that your motion or your motion to put in the minutes?
I wanted you to put in that in the minutes.
All in favor of?
Well, if you're, technically, you can't just do a motion to that.
Okay.
No, it's part of the minutes record because she read it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, so you don't need to.
We don't need a motion.
And I'll make a
What'll happen
motion
is,
to adjourn.
if I can, do two things. If I can, Mr. McDowell, when the minutes are approved next week, right, if they're attached, you approve them, and it felt like they needed to, if this, for example, if Mr. Ellis not included, you'd have an opportunity at that point to add it, right? It would be nice for you to do that. So if we're gonna adjourn, as I said, I'd ask that we have an executive session, right, so that
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourning. We will not come back.
I don't even.